Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Waffle, a review of Game Week 4, looking ahead to Game Week 5, and my wildcard may well be active. Stay tuned to see who I'm putting in for my wildcard. But firstly, let's have a quick look at how I got on in Game Week number 4. I got 71 points, which was, 1 point below average. I was happy enough for the week. Nothing spectacular, but it was good enough. It keeps us ticking over. It keeps us in a decent rank in the world for now. Jordan Pickford was disappointing, shall we say. To see him get an own goal was horrible. So that wasn't a great start. Baldock as well. I said it. Sheffield v Everton, I could see it being a 0-0 game, but no, both teams conceded twice. So that was a stinker. In fact, defensively, all my players didn't deliver, as you can see from the screen. Estepinian, Gusto, Saliba all with 2 pointers. Into midfield, a little bit better. Fernandez with 2, Saka with 4, Salah, Mr. Consistent with 8. And Brian and Bomo, who last week I said, if you can roll a transfer, roll a transfer. I'm basically going to be rolling whatever. I ended up getting tempted by Brian and Bomo, brought him in for the Bournemouth game. He thankfully got a last minute goal to get an 8 pointer. And the guy transferred out for him, Rashford, got 7 points for Arsenal. So I'm up by 1, but for the sake of a transfer, was it really worth it? Maybe not. Long term, I'm very happy with Bomo, but yeah, Rashford has some reasonable fixtures coming up. So hindsight would have been nice to have two free transfers this week, but like I said, the wild card may well be active. So it's a 1 point win is a 1 point win, right? And then up front, Nicholas Jackson, unfortunately disappointed again. 1 point, another yellow card. Haaland captain, absolutely destroyed it. I'm sure most people captained him. To be fair, I know hindsight and all that, but it wasn't a bad shout on paper for a triple captain. At home to Fulham, they've been conceding the most chance, I think, above all the teams, or at least they're up there. It's early in the season. Haaland's fresh. There's no Champions League. He's, at the City grounds, the Etihad, whatever it's called, at home. Yeah, might have been a good shout for triple captain if I'd thought about it, but the double game weeks are too tempting to hold on to. And then yeah, on the bench, Turner better than Pickford, bit painful. The most painful one was Cameron Archer, who caused Pickford to score an own goal. So yeah, I guess it was a bit negative, me playing Baldock ahead of the new striker, but I just saw it being a low scoring game, so I can't regret it. But yeah, 71 points moving into this week. And like I said, the wild card is going to be active, I think. And this is the team that I'm thinking of putting together for the wild card. So I've thought about it a lot, and I've finally kind of settled on this, I think. So Flecken in goal, just very solid. Brentford keeper. Brentford defensively are solid. He's been making saves. 4.5 million is a great price for him. I just think he's just a very solid keeper, kind of week in, week out going forward. So I'm very happy with a Flecken. And then the number 2 keeper, partly to afford things and partly because he rotates fairly well with Flecken. Turner for Forest. Also, when Brentford blank, assuming Turner's still kept his place, which isn't guaranteed now they sign this Greek keeper, they've got a good fixture in that week. So we'll see. There's plenty of weeks between now and then, but I think those two keepers for only 4 and 4.5 mil, they'll do a good job for me. So I'm happy with them, and it frees up a bit of funds for kind of the rest of the team. So defensively, um, first defender, sort by let's just go by this. So Estepinian for Brighton, he's been quality again this season attacking. He's been playing almost as a striker at times. He's in the team. He's home to Bournemouth, I think, next week after this current game week. And just moving forward, like he's just such a solid player. If you have to bench him, I'm gonna have to bench him a few weeks, but I want him in my team. So Estepinian's there. He's phenomenal asset. Then we've got Dogi for Spurs. He's proving to be their sort of number one player. I think it's a left back. 4.7 is a bargain price. They've got some good fixtures overall over this next period. With a bit of planning ahead for those that normally a lot of people are lining up game week 9 wild card. So I've had half an eye on that with this team to sort of make sure I'm prepared even for that onwards as well. So yeah, he's just a good option. I think again, just in general, affordability, good fixture, like I said, and particularly in this period, home Sheffield this week. I want a bit of a Dogie in my team. Then for my third pick, um, Ben Chilwell, I'm going to hop on because he's been playing basically left wing for Chelsea. Chelsea's good fixture run still hasn't ended. They've still got a few more game weeks, 4 game weeks to be precise, of good fixtures. I can always hop off him. And I haven't got too many players I'm thinking, planning to hop off him, but he's one I probably will. But yeah, just he's doing very well. He's got 4 more good fixtures. I just think let's get a bit of Ben Chilwell on my team for those 4 fixtures. And again, he's a cheap way of kind of covering the Chelsea fixtures. Sterling and Jackson being more expensive. He's probably the cheapest, best asset into their team. So I'd say in a minute I've gone for Sterling and Jackson as well. But Chilwell, yeah, he's in. Then for the next ones, just need to think who I've got. So Botman is another one I'm going to go for. This is partly affordability, partly because Newcastle have great fixtures. I wanted a Newcastle player. I wanted a Newcastle defender. With Champions League, I think Botman, Trippier, Pope, and Shaw are going to be the most nailed ones. And Botman's the cheapest. And for this team I've put together, he enables things to happen. And I've still got the Newcastle coverage. Now, he's a 25% chance of playing, according to their next game. I wouldn't actually need him in this team for the next game. I'll need him for game week 6. And by then, I'd like to think he's back. He's been training over the international period to try and get back from the injury. So they said, I think he put a tweet up saying that he's close to return. So hopefully he'll be back for when I need him. So Botman's in there for the Newcastle coverage and defence. And then my 5th defender is going to be, I actually think he was right at the start because he smashed it. Matty Cash, there he is, 4.6 mil. I initially was thinking Martinez in goal. Some people saying Cash isn't 100% nailed, but he's doing so well at the moment. And again, he's just a cheap way into that Villa kind of defence/attack with some of his attacking positions. And again, he just helps to make this team work with the Villa coverage. They've got great fixtures coming up. That's just ridiculous, isn't it? I want some of that in my team. So we've got Matty Cash there to complete the defence. I think it's a solid defence for a cheap defence. That's a solid defence, solid keepers for affordable prices. We're still 66.9 more in the bank. Swings midfield then. Brian Mbeumo's keeping his place for a start. He's just on pens, free kicks. They've got good fixtures still. Brentford, cheap price. Like he's just a solid pick. I just don't think you can go wrong with a guy. So Brian Mbeumo, there he is, first man on the midfield team sheet. I've then got Heung-min Son in, most explosive Spurs asset. I just think Maddison. I haven't gone for Maddison. I was tempted by both, but I think Maddison is very injury prone, and Son at the moment is explosive. We've just seen him playing up front. He smashed Burnley. I know there's a chance it could be like a one good game and then stopping it, but he could well be on pens. He's going to be their talisman, I think. They've got good fixtures coming up, like I said, with the Dogie. And he even provides some captain options coming up. So Sheffield this week is very tempting to captain him. Luton away in game week 8 is also tempting. Because if we just look at the fixtures quick, fixture difficulty rating. So Man City in game week 8 away to Arsenal, right? Liverpool away to Brighton, sort of teams you might target. And then you've got away to Luton, arguably the best sort of team to play if you want to score goals against them. No disrespect to Luton fans, I'm sure they won't be arguing too much with it. I think he's someone I might be captaining. And I'm not going to be captaining Maddison because his ceiling's a bit lower. So I've got Son in there. Then we've got Saka for the Arsenal coverage. I just think he's their best asset. He's most affordable. He's going to be on pens. Him and Odegaard probably going to be sharing them. He's their talisman. I think I might have already said. I think you need a bit of an Arsenal attacker in there, and I think Saka's just clearly the one. So Saka's in. And then a couple more players to look at. So I've actually popped the Derby in. Again, partly to afford things, partly for the fixture run for Villa. Just think for 6.6 mil, really good price. And again, makes this team work. He's there for the fixtures coming up. He's looking like a good player. I'm just more than happy to have him in my team. Sterling, I might have had ahead of him if I could have afforded him. But again, Sterling would be more shorter term. He'd leave me with a transfer problem. So Derby actually is probably the best shout. And then my 5th one, I'm actually going to go for Marcus Rashford. I subbed him out last game week, but seeing him back at left wing, seeing what he could do cutting in from that position, their next fixtures, I don't know, I could just see him cutting inside and scoring a few goals. Like Brighton, as a Brighton fan, like defensively we are vulnerable. I think we've got James Milner playing right back a lot of games, or Veltman. Rashford could attack that and get some returns. Same against Burnley, same in some of these other fixtures coming up. And he's just the most explosive player out of him and Fernandes. Rashford's the one that could smash it. And that's kind of why I want him in my team. I just think Fernandes he's got a good kind of expected goal involvement, but I feel like there's going to be more assists from him. And the 3 points for an assist compared to a 5 point goal. I know he's on pens, but I just think Rashford, he's the aggressive pick. Same with Son. I just think these players are attacking, they're deadly on their day. I want them in my team. So we've got the Man United coverage there, we've got Rashford in, which leaves us with the strikers with a nice budget to do so. So Haaland's just the obvious one, right? We don't need to talk about him. He's going to be captain most weeks. He's the premium in here. I haven't got Salah because, like I said, Haaland captain most weeks. I've had Salah so far this season and he's been ticking along, but for the price I've paid for him, I don't think he's been justifying the returns. I know Liverpool have some good games coming up and I might try and work a way of weaning him in later, but I just think you want a premium mainly for captaincy. And if Haaland's going to be captain almost every week, and like I said, in the weeks where he isn't, Heung-min Son actually comes in nicely for those games where you wouldn't want to captain City, kind of all the way up until Liverpool Forest there. You think, okay, that's maybe like one where you might want to captain a Salah. But you've then got Saka at home to Sheffield. I'd be happy captaining Saka in that. It's only really, I think, game week 14 where Liverpool home to Fulham, which is tasty, City home to Spurs. You think I probably would want to captain a Salah in that. You're not going to want to captain Son and maybe Saka against Wolves, but I think when you've got Salah at home to Fulham, that's maybe where I think about, changing my team structure to get Salah in. But even then, City at home to Spurs, who are a very attacking team, are conceding goals. It's not exactly a bad shout, is it? So anyway, Haaland's in. Haaland's obviously in. And captaincy, we've kind of discussed a bit of plans. And then that leaves a couple more strikers. With the double game week news for Luton on a wild card, I'm going to make the most of it with a Morris. Not just because of the double, but his next 3 fixtures, even 4, actually 4. I'm talking about Burnley there, to be fair. So yeah, if you count the double 4 fixtures, away to Fulham, home to Wolves, away to Everton, home to Burnley. It's a cracking set of fixtures. I know he's Luton, but he's on pens. They have been nicking goals. If anyone is going to be involved with a goal, it's probably going to be Morris of what we've been seeing so far. I'm going to hedge my bets and think over those next 4 games, surely he gets at least 2 returns. That's what I'm hoping for. For 5.5, he gives me a doubler as well, and then I can potentially offload him after that. We've got Morris, which leaves us with a 7.4 million in the bank, and that enables us to get a slightly questionable Darwin Núñez. But why I like it is, I currently don't have a Liverpool player on the team, and I was thinking about this. I was like, right, I can't afford Salah if I want to make this team work for funds. Trent, I'd like the idea of, but he's currently semi-injured with a hamstring problem, and Liverpool are conceding goals. Robertson, Van Dijk, do you really want them? And then you're left with Darwin, who for 7.4 million is an absolutely explosive asset. It looks like he's now currently the number 1 striker. He's always going to be getting minutes and he's always going to be pushing for starts and he's always going to be having loads of chances to get goal involvement. So 11 points and 8 points the last 2 games. It gives us Liverpool coverage from arguably their most explosive player. We obviously know about Salah, but in terms of just, this man's stats in terms of expected goals is ridiculous. A bit like Haaland's level, just not as consistent or clinical. But with this fixture run, it gives me some Liverpool coverage, and I can, like I said, I can rejig things, potentially get Salah later. But yeah, it leaves us with what I think looks like a very strong team. There's good bench options every week. And if I look at my FPL.team, it covers us moving forward. So this current game week, we've got a very solid looking team. For our starting 11, there's no players starting. I'm thinking, that's a shame. We've got Turner at home to Burnley instead of Flecken at Newcastle as well, which works nicely with those 2 as a pair. In game week 6, we'd have Flecken back in goal. We'd have a very solid defence. They have nice fixtures. Same in the midfielders. Okay, Saka and Son, they play each other, but it's a derby. They're 2 of the talismanic players. You could very well see them doing something in that with some goals in that game. And then 3 strikers all at home, decent fixtures. And then you've got some bench players with nasty fixtures on the bench. And then game week 7, again, the team's looking good. And again, with the rotation system, you can bench players like a Dogi that here don't have a good fixture. Estepinian away to Villa, you'd expect us to concede. And then, yeah, I've got a Villa player in there to do a job at home to Brighton. I might even change mine and put an Estepinian or, make a transfer whatever near the time. But there's nothing wrong with this team, and the bench is strong. And come game week 7, game week 8, I then have 2 free transfers in the bank, assuming there's no issues. And I can start to look at ways of, maybe offloading the likes of Morris and things like that. I could even do the likes of Estepinian for Shah in this game week, and then pop him in ahead of like a Morris or and then Bomo or something. And yeah, I've then got the double Newcastle for their continued good run. So I just think the team sets me up beautifully moving forward. And even with those wildcarding in game week 9, I still think my team will be looking decent. With some of the coverage, like I said, to the likes of Villa and Liverpool, who have those fixture swings. So yeah, I like the team a lot, and I think I'm going to lock it in. In fact, let's lock it in now on the live. Play wild cards. You're now praising your wild cards, unlimited transfers, and then there's the team. Double check we've got it played. Yeah, no points to be paid. Make transfers. We don't want to cancel the wild card. Confirm transfers and play wild card. And there it is. Locked in. And we'll just rejig the team to show what we want for this game week. We want him in there. We want Mbomo there. And I think that's probably what we're looking at with, for now, for a bit of fun, let's put the captaincy on Son and vice Haaland. We know West Ham can be a fairly solid team at home as well. You'd think if you would, I don't know, say it's for you to put money on someone to score a hat-trick out of Son and Haaland, it's still hard to bet against Haaland, isn't it? But I feel like the chances would be higher for a Son at home to Sheffield, as bad as Sheffield have been, compared to Haaland away to West Ham. It is a trickier fixture, even though we know how good he is. So yeah, save the team, and there we go. We got the team sorted. I'm very happy with this team. I'm pleased with the wild card. I've thought about it a lot, and I just think my team was looking a tad kind of weak. There's my defense with Gusto, Gabriel, still potential rotation risk. Like I've still got, I've got Cameron Archer up front, who was fine. But yes, the funds of Salah and Nakamba in midfield, like my team is very reliant on these 11 players playing every week. And as soon as Reece James is back for Gusto, which it says he's back soon, my team was looking stuffed. So yeah, that's the wild card. I'm happy with it. I'm looking forward to my team moving forward. And I just think I feel a whole lot better about my team moving forward. So we'll leave the video there. Hopefully there's been some sort of wild card inspiration for you if you're thinking about wild card, and maybe, yeah, you're looking at my team and thinking, actually, I quite like some of those ideas for some of the reasons I've explained. But yeah, either way, I hope you have a good game week coming up in a week's time. It'd be nice to have the Premier League football back. Never like international breaks, don't think any of us do. But yeah, for now, have a good rest of your days. Hope you've enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video at all. It would be much appreciated. And for now, I'll catch you on the next one. Bye for now.